Your day begins with a sound, an alarm, a gentle beep, maybe a song from your phone. You have a choice. You can hit snooze. You can grant yourself 10 more minutes of warmth and darkness. Time is a thing you control. You schedule your life in clean digital blocks. You decide when to rise, when to eat, when to rest. Your world waits for you. It is a world built on your comfort, your convenience. It is an illusion, and it is about to be shattered completely. Imagine that control is gone. There's no alarm clock. There's only the sun. Its first thin light bleeds over the horizon, a pale, cold grey. It simply arrives. The light touches the thatch of a low-roofed hut. It seeps through the cracks in the wattle door walls. This light is your master. The day has begun. Your time is no longer your own. It belongs to the sun, to the land, to the work that must be done. You are lying on a pallet of straw. It is thin. It is damp. The cold from the packed earth floor seeps through it, deep into your bones. There is no central heating to click on. There is no soft carpet to greet your feet. Only the raw, biting chill of a world without modern insulation. Your breath hangs in the air, a small, ghostly cloud. The air smells of damp earth, of old smoke, and of unwashed bodies sleeping close for warmth. This is your reality now. This is the first test. This is the moment of truth. Your modern mind screams for comfort, for warmth, for just 5 more minutes. But there are no more minutes to be had. The village is stirring. You can hear the low grunt of a pig, the distant crow of a rooster. These are the sounds of survival. Every moment you linger in the cold half-light is a moment wasted. A moment the day gets ahead of you. You have to stand up. You have to face the brutal, unforgiving clock of the natural world. This is where your 24 hours of hell begin. You are standing in the gloom of a single-room hut. The floor is cold stone and packed dirt. It bites at the soles of your bare feet. Your clothes are coarse wool, stiff and itchy against your skin. They offer little protection from the deep, damp cold that lives inside these walls. The first task of the day is the most critical. It is the fight for fire. You have no matches. You have no lighter. You have a piece of flint and a shard of steel. Your hands are already stiff with cold. This is not a simple task. It is a battle. You crouch over a small clay hearth. In your other hand, you hold a tinderbox. Inside is a piece of charred linen, your precious charcloth. You strike the flint against the steel, again and again. The scraping sound is harsh in the silence. A spark flies, it dies, another, it vanishes. Your knuckles are raw. Finally, a single bright spark lands on the blackened cloth. It does not burst into flame. It begins to glow, a tiny, fragile red eye in the darkness. This is the ember. This is hope. Now you must nurture it. You lean in close, your face just inches from the hearth. You blow on the ember. A gentle, steady breath. Too hard and you will blow it out. Too soft and it will die on its own. The ember brightens, then dims. You cup your hands around it, feeding it the driest, finest bits of straw you can find. Your lungs begin to burn from the effort, from the cold air. The ember catches. A wisp of smoke rises, stinging your eyes. Then another. The straw ignites. A tiny flickering flame is born. The flame is weak. You feed it carefully. Twigs first, then larger sticks. The fire is alive, but breakfast is not a reward. It is a necessity, and a grim one at that. You do not have choices. There is no pantry full of options. There is no refrigerator stocked with fruit and milk. There is a loaf of bread. It is dark, almost black. It is dense and heavy in your hand, like a small rock. This is not the soft, airy bread you know. It is rye bread. It is barley bread made from coarsely ground grain. It is the staple food that keeps you alive and nothing more. You break off a piece. The crust is hard. It takes effort. You put it in your mouth and begin to chew. The texture is rough, gritty. You can taste the dust and the chaff that wasn't properly sifted from the flour. It is bland, with a slightly sour, earthy flavour. You chew slowly, deliberately. This bread is not for pleasure. It is fuel. You wash it down with a swig of what they call ale. It is not the cold, crisp beer you might imagine. It is thin, watery and lukewarm, served from a wooden tankard. It tastes faintly of grain and fermentation, but mostly it's just wet. People here drink this weak beer. People here drink this small beer for a simple reason. The water is not safe. It comes from a communal well or a nearby stream, and it can be teeming with diseases that could kill you. The fermentation process of the ale, however weak, makes it a safer option. So you drink it. It provides a few meagre calories, but it does little to quench a true thirst. There is no sugar. There are no spices. There is no coffee to wake your mind. There is only the grim reality of a meal designed for pure function. Once the meagre breakfast is down, the day's real work begins. There is no commute. There is no office. Your workplace is the earth itself, and your body is the primary tool. You walk out into the vast open fields that surround the village. The ground is cold and hard, or thick with mud that pulls at your worn leather shoes. You are a peasant farmer. Your life is tied to the soil, and the soil demands everything you have. You do not work for a salary. You work for your share of the harvest. You work to survive. Your main task for much of the year is ploughing. You stand behind a heavy wooden plough, its single blade designed to cut a furrow in the tough soil. An ox or two might be harnessed to the front, but your strength is just as crucial. You must grip the handles, your knuckles white, and guide the ploughshare with all your weight. The earth resists. Every rock, every root sends a jarring shock up your arms and into your shoulders. Your back screams in protest. This is not a 9-to-5 job. You work from sunrise until you can no longer see. When the harvest comes, the labor becomes frantic. You move through the fields of wheat or barley, armed with a short, curved blade, the sickle. Bend, grasp, slice. Bend, grasp, slice. For hours, for days. The sun beats down on your neck. Sweat drips into your eyes. Your palms, soft from a modern life, would quickly blister. Those blisters would break, leaving open sores. You cannot stop. You wrap them in rags and keep going. A small cut from the blade goes unnoticed, the blood mingling with the sweat and dirt. The pain is constant. It becomes a part of you. A dull ache in your lower back. A grinding protest from your knees every time you stoop. A burning fire in your shoulders. Your hands become calloused and permanently stained with dirt. The tools are simple, often crude. They break. You learn to fix them with what you have, a strip of leather, a piece of wood. There are no sick days. There is no paid time off. If you stop, the harvest fails. If the harvest fails, your family starves. So you push through the pain. You become a machine of flesh and bone. While the men toil in the fields, the women's work is a different kind of relentless. Her day also starts before the sun with the struggle for fire. The hut, the yard, the space between. Her labour is less visible to the Lord, less counted in the dues, but it is the thread that holds this entire world together. Her work never, ever ends. She is the keeper of the flame. She is the manager of scarcity. She is the silent engine of the home. Her exhaustion is a quiet, constant hum beneath the noise of daily life. After tending the fire, she fetches water. At the village well, at a nearby stream, carrying heavy wooden buckets. She will make this trip multiple times a day. She grinds the grain for daily bread, kneeling over a heavy quern stone, hands pushing the top stone in circles, her arms and back straining, the coarse grain becoming flour. Then there are the children, feeding infants, cleaning infants, carrying them on her back as she works, watching older children and teaching chores, milking the family goat, milking the cow, churning milk into butter, making cheese, tending the small garden patch near the hut, peas, beans, onions, foraging in the woods, gathering nuts, picking berries, searching for edible plants, long after the sun has set. By the dim light of the fire, she spins wool into thread with a drop spindle. She weaves that thread into rough cloth. She mends clothing with a bone needle, patching holes and reinforcing seams. Her hands are never still. While the man's work is seasonal, her work is daily, hourly, constant. Her fatigue is bone-deep weariness, day after relentless day. She is the unsung hero of this brutal world. You look at the field you just ploughed. You feel the ache in your muscles, the sting of cuts on your hands. You might think, this is my land. I work it. I bleed on it. But you would be wrong. You own nothing. Not the land you farm, not the hut you sleep in, not even the tools you use. All of it belongs to the Lord of the Manor. He is a knight. He is a baron. He is a distant monastery. He owns everything. You are simply a tenant, a serf. Your life is bound to this soil, caught in a complex web of obligation and law. This is the system of feudalism. In exchange for living on the Lord's land, you owe him your labor. For several days a week, you do not work on the small plot allotted to your family. You work on the Lord's personal fields, the domain. You plough his land, you sow his crops, you harvest his grain. This is your primary rent, paid not in coin, but in sweat and exhaustion. You are, in essence, a permanent, hereditary worker. You work for a master you rarely see. The lack of ownership extends to every part of your life. The forest nearby belongs to the Lord. You cannot hunt there. Poaching a deer could get you hanged. You cannot even gather firewood freely. You might have to pay a fee or be restricted to what has fallen naturally. The river belongs to the Lord. You cannot fish in it without his permission. The mill where you must grind your grain into flour, it belongs to the Lord. You must pay him a portion of your flour, the multure. This system robs you of freedom. You are not a slave, but you are not free. You are tied to the manor. You cannot leave without the Lord's permission. If you run away and are caught, you can be severely punished. Your children are born into the same arrangement. They will inherit your obligations. They will inherit your debts. They will inherit your lack of freedom. This crushing weight of non-ownership defines your existence. You work tirelessly on a world you can never call your own, a prisoner of the very soil that sustains you. Your work for the Lord is only the beginning of what you owe. His shadow falls over every part of your meagre existence in the form of dues, taxes and fines. Besides the days of labor you owe him each week, you must also pay a significant portion of your own harvest. When you finally gather the grain from your small strip of land, the Lord's reeve, his manager, will be there to claim the Lord's share. A tenth, a quarter, sometimes more. What is left is what you and your family must survive on for the entire year. The payments are relentless and varied. Chickens, eggs owed to the manor. Cheese, the best wheal claimed by the Lord. Feast days, Christmas. Feast days, Easter. Extra gifts of produce or livestock expected. A fine, merchet, for letting your daughter marry out. Death. The Lord can claim your best animal as a death tax. The Heriot. This system keeps you permanently poor. In a good year, with a bountiful harvest, you might just have enough. You can feed your family, pay your dues, and perhaps have a tiny bit left over to trade for a new pot or a pair of shoes. But a bad year is catastrophic. Drought, flood, crop disease. The Lord, however, still demands his share. The percentage does not change. Your portion shrinks to almost nothing. This is how famine begins. You have no recourse. The Lord's court handles all disputes, written to protect his interests, not yours. Complaining can lead to fines or a flogging. Resisting can lead to being thrown off your land, a death sentence. You live in a state of constant vulnerability, dependent on weather, work, and the whim of a powerful man you may never meet. His demands are the first and last thought of your day. A constant pressure that shapes every decision. This is relentless. As the sun begins its descent, the world changes. The sky bleeds orange. The sky deepens to purple. Breath fogs, the air grows cold with alarming speed. This is not the gentle transition of a modern evening, streetlights and indoor heating. This is a plunge into darkness and cold. You trudge back from the fields, your body a symphony of aches. No real rest waits for you. The night brings its own challenges and fears. There is no switching on a light. There is only the fire. Family huddled around a small, smoky fire in a one-room medieval hut. The only light comes from the central hearth. Long, dancing shadows flicker on the walls. The light is weak and flickering. It makes tasks difficult. You eat your evening meal, a thin pottage being ladled, boiled grains, root vegetables, food eaten in near darkness from a shared wooden bowl. Conversation sparse, muted by exhaustion. Outside, the hut's door opens onto black, unknown space. The night is not silent. Wind whistles through the thatch roof. A fox cries in the distance. Village dogs bark at unseen threats. Rats rustle in the straw. Every unfamiliar sound feels like danger. A thief in the night could steal your only goat. A wild animal could threaten your livestock. A fire, a stray ember could consume your home in minutes. You do not sleep with the deep peace of modern security. You sleep with one ear open. No entertainment, no books, no screens, perhaps a story told, perhaps a low song. Mostly there is the waiting. You huddle close to the fire until it dies to embers. You retreat to a straw pallet. Thin wool blankets pulled over you. Sleep is a brief, troubled pause in endless labor. A few hours until cold grey light returns and the cycle begins again. There is no escape. It's unrelenting. In this world, your body is not just a tool for labor. It is a fragile vessel in a sea of dangers. You are acutely aware of how easily life can be extinguished. A simple injury that you would treat with an antiseptic and a bandage can become a death sentence here. That cut you got from the sickle in the field, if it becomes infected, there are no antibiotics. You can only watch as the redness spreads, as the fever takes hold. You hope and you pray. Often that is not enough. Sickness is a constant visitor to the village. A common cold can turn into pneumonia. A stomach bug from tainted water, from spoiled food, can lead to fatal dehydration. Diseases we now vaccinate against, measles, smallpox, sweep through communities like wildfire, leaving devastation in their wake. There are no doctors in your village, There might be a local wise woman who knows about herbs, or a barber surgeon in a distant town who can pull a tooth or set a bone. But their knowledge is limited and often mixed with superstition. Childbirth is one of the most dangerous moments in a woman's life. Many women die from infection, blood loss, other complications. A staggering number of infants do not survive their first year. You learn to live with loss as a regular occurrence. You see your neighbours grow sick. You watch children in your own family succumb to fevers. You dig the graves yourself in the churchyard. Death is not a distant, sanitized event. It is a close, personal, frequent part of life. This constant proximity to death fosters a deep-seated fear. You fear a bad winter, knowing it will bring hunger and weaken your family. You fear a wet spring, knowing it will rot the seeds in the ground. You fear a small cough, a rash, a pain in your gut. You live with a level of anxiety that is hard for a modern person to comprehend. Your survival is a day-to-day proposition, balanced on the knife's edge of luck and fortitude. Every sunrise you are healthy is a small, silent victory against the overwhelming odds. It wears on you. The 24 hours are almost over. You are lying in the dark, the straw rustling beneath you. Your body is a geography of pain. Your back is a single solid ache. Your hands are raw and blistered. Your lungs feel raw from smoke. An empty, gnawing hunger lives in your stomach. The cold is a constant presence, a thief that steals your warmth. You have endured one day. Now, ask yourself the real question. Could you do it again tomorrow? And the day after that? For the rest of your life? The answer is almost certainly no. Your modern body and mind are not prepared for this reality. The physical shock would be immense. The constant grinding labor would break you. The constant grinding labor would break you. But the psychological toll would be just as devastating. The loss of control, the lack of choice, the constant anxiety about food, health and safety. The sheer monotony and hopelessness of a life where every day is a struggle for the most basic necessities. The comforts you take for granted are not luxuries. They are a buffer against a world of brutal hardship. You have electricity, hot water, soft beds, medicine, an abundance of food. You have laws that protect your rights, and a society with safety nets. You think of work as a part of life, not the entirety of it. You have leisure, you have hobbies, you have the freedom to move, to choose your path, to hope for a future different from your present. These are the invisible walls that protect you from the reality your 14th century counterpart faced every single day. Without them, you would be exposed and vulnerable. So, as you return to your world of clocks and comfort, remember this day. Remember the grit in the bread, the sting of smoke, the ache in your muscles. This was not a story or a game. This was the reality for the vast majority of our ancestors. They were not heroes in shining armor. They were survivors. They lived with a strength and resilience that is hard to fathom. They endured. They raised families. They found small moments of joy in a world of hardship. Your one day of hell was their entire life. And surviving it is the greatest testament to the endurance of the human spirit. Remember that.